Right now, on to the point.
A massive bomb cyclone and atmospheric river wreaking havoc on the West Coast. The big impacts we're facing and for how long.
Plus, new projections about the state's budget.
We described there being about a $2 billion deficit.
What it means for government spending and jobs. And more fallout over Matt Gaetz nominated for Attorney General.
There was not an agreement by the committee to release the report.
What's next as a report investigating sexual misconduct remains under wraps?
Good evening. As always, thank you so much for joining us on To The Point. I'm Alex Bell, and tonight you already know we are going to start tracking that storm system that's moving straight into Northern California. Right now, train controls are active along I-80 in the Sierra. The system, called a bomb cyclone, ripped through the northwestern part of the country Tuesday night into Wednesday. Officials say at least 2 people have been killed by falling trees in Washington state, and at least at one point 500,000 people were without power. Now, that is the same system that has now made its way to Northern California, bringing rain and snow. We do have team coverage tracking the impacts tonight. But first, let's get over to meteorologist Carly Gomez, who's breaking down the timing of it all.
Yeah, that bomb cyclone moving in, or as of early this morning, really, and then starting to gain momentum now. A bomb cyclone is a 24 millibar drop in pressure within 24 hours. This one is 56 millibars dropped in just 18 hours. So more than double the necessary millibar droppage that you would need to call it a bomb cyclone. So it more than doubled that. And that's where we're starting to see the big impacts. But now it has tapped into an atmospheric river, providing a lot of moisture over Northern California. Now, what we see here is radar indicated rotations happening. That is small funnel clouds that are being detected way up in the sky, some of them producing areas of heavy downpours as well as potential for hail. Now, we're even seeing tornado warnings up in Washington right now, and water spouts being reported off the coastline. With our weather headlines, weather impact alert day at least through Monday for rain, snow, as well as that wind. The valley rain heavy at times with snow accumulations as much as 2 to 4 feet into the weekend. This is a long storm cycle with several storm systems included into your Thanksgiving week. We are seeing more than 1/10 of an inch in Sacramento, expecting to get as much as 1 to 2 inches by Friday into Saturday. Already more than 1/2 inch in Marysville. And as we take a look at the futurecast rain totals again, as mentioned, we could get close to almost 2 inches of rain with 2.3 in Roseville by Saturday, 3.5 in Yuba City, 5.2 in Santa Rosa by Saturday. Winter storm watches, warnings, advisories in place for the Sierra, with flood watches also in place. We'll talk more about how much more rain is on the way and how much more snow we could see through next week.
Thanks, Carly. The town of Truckee not only bracing for this storm, but the influx of visitors for the start of the ski and snowboarding season. Many locals used today to go out and shop and stock up. The Office of Emergency Services for the town of Truckee says law enforcement and public works are fully staffed for the weekend storm and for those travelers, calling this the first larger snow of the season.
Ensure that home is prepared, stocked up on food and supplies. Even if you're coming for a short trip, that short trip sometimes can turn into a longer trip if there's road closures. So making sure that you're stocked up with enough food, making sure your vehicle is stocked up as well.
The town of Truckee is also asking everyone to sign up for emergency alerts through the Code Red system or Tahoe alerts to be prepared for this storm and for the rest of the season. We're also tracking the impacts of rain here in the valley. ABC 10's Roxana Leah spent the day in Sacramento County and shares neighbors' concerns tonight.
Alex, we've traveled all throughout the area, starting in Roseville, then Carmichael and Antelope, and now in Sacramento. And families tell us that this time of year can be a worrisome one because they've experienced what can happen with the aftermath of ongoing rain. They say they've seen it all, from traffic accidents to flooding to power outages. As the rain approaches neighborhoods in the valley, concerns start to arise for residents who have dealt with problems in the past. Melian Davis says the rain worries her because she has a disabled mother at home who relies on an oxygen tank. And if they lose power, she's scared how long it'll be for. She also says she's witnessed hit and runs because people want to drive too fast trying to get home.
I see a lot of the water hits the ground in the potholes. And some of them are very dangerous for whatever we're driving because people try to swerve around to not hit the potholes, and it causes accidents.
People just got to slow down and just take their time, that's especially when it starts to rain like this and we haven't had rain in a while. They got to slow down. Take your time. Don't crash into me.
CHP is asking people to keep their lights and windshield wipers on when driving in these types of conditions. They also ask drivers to avoid areas that look flooded and to keep an emergency kit in your car. In Sacramento, Roxanne Elias, ABC 10.
And our weather coverage does not stop here. We will have more coming up a little bit later in the show. You can also watch extended forecasts on our free ABC 10 Plus app, wherever you are streaming. In other news tonight, 3 people are hurt and more than 40 people are displaced after an apartment complex caught on fire. It happened last night on A Street in North Highlands. Sacramento Metro Fire says the wind caused the fire to spread very quickly, and 16 units in one building were damaged. People in another building evacuated due to burning, falling power lines. The Red Cross is working with the property manager to help the displaced residents find shelter. The cause of this fire is still under investigation. A man is dead following a shooting this morning in South Sacramento, and the sheriff's office says it happened just after 10 along Judette Avenue in Florin. Detectives are investigating it as a homicide. And then 28 people were arrested today outside of the Travis Air Force Base. Fairfield police say about 50 people were protesting issues in the Middle East at the base. Officers say that they asked the protesters to stop blocking the road, but several of them refused to. We are told that no force was used and nobody was hurt. Thousands of UC healthcare workers are on strike. The 2-day strike affects nearly 40,000 UC workers at campuses and medical facilities across the state. This is video from UC Davis Medical Center just this morning. The union says the workers are lobbying for better staff and pay. UC says that it has offered wage increases of about 27% to union members. And right now, UC doesn't anticipate any disruptions to services, telling us that 2/3 of union workers chose to cross the picket line and go to work today. And there's good news and bad news when it comes to the state's budget for this upcoming fiscal year. The good news, the state's nonpartisan legislative analysts say the budget looks to be in fair condition. The bad news is they say it won't stay and that it is, and the state is encouraged to cut back. ABC 10's Jeannie Nguyen shares the breakdown and how the state and lawmakers are responding.
On Wednesday, the Legislative Analyst's Office, known as the LAO, forecasted the state's budget for the 2025 to 2026 fiscal year.
We describe the state's budget condition as being in fair shape, and we would describe it as being roughly balanced.
Predicting a relatively small deficit.
We described there being about a $2 billion deficit for the budget year for 2025-26.
Last year, the LAO predicted a $68 billion deficit. Governor Gavin Newsom disagreed, estimated it to be $47 billion. The LAO credits the state legislature for closing the gap this past year, but believes the next few years aren't as promising.
The subsequent 3 fiscal years after the budget year, we estimate there to be pretty significant operating deficits emerging in the range of $20 to $30 billion per year.
They say the state is facing a weaker economy with unemployment increasing an additional 25% compared to strong labor markets in 2019 and 2022. However, the state does have $7 billion in revenue.
It's really been driven by income gains among high-income taxpayers, which are benefiting a lot from the very strong stock market trends that we've been seeing.
The state's Department of Finance tells ABC 10 the report is reasonable.
We believe that we are in a much better position starting this coming budget year than we were 12 months ago.
And they believe the state does need to cut back.
One thing we're not going to do is, and from the governor's standpoint, is we're not going to commit the state to higher levels of ongoing spending that can't be sustained by revenues.
Republican Senator Roger Nilo says the state should analyze its spending for certain programs.
We need a robust analysis of existing programs and whether or not they're doing what we expected them to do when they were established. And if they're not, we need to eliminate those programs and therefore cut expenses.
In Sacramento, Jeannie Nguyen, ABC 10.
And you might be asking yourself, what does this all mean for state jobs? The LAO says that this year the state did not add any new jobs, but is working to fill vacant positions. If you do want to read the report for yourself, we have it all posted on abc10.com/tothepoint, along with other lawmakers' responses. Still ahead, concerns on Capitol Hill over Trump's nomination for Attorney General, what a House Ethics Committee voted not to do today.
Heavy rain and snow will continue picking up through tonight. How much more is left, really, through the weekend, and how much more rain and snow we could see through next week?
Meteorologist Carly Gomez has been tracking this storm for us, and man, that rain is really starting to come down now. We can hear it on the roof of our station very loudly.
Very loud. It started off pretty moderate this morning, thinking, hey, this is not going to be too bad, right? And then you continued on throughout your day, and you said, wow, this is really picking up. It's going to continue to do so through the overnight, early morning hours tomorrow, all the way up till lunchtime. Then we'll get a small break into your Thursday afternoon, evening hours, before it picks up again early Friday morning. Well, right now we do have weather impact alert days at least through Monday, expecting that to actually extend even into Tuesday. Now, our impacts right now are just heavy showers as well as heavy Sierra snowfall expected to fall through the weekend. We really just need you to watch the roadways. Take it nice and slow. Watch for any debris or ponding out there, as we're expecting to see some areas of flooding, especially if you are north of Sacramento. From Yuba City north, we're looking at areas with a flood watch in effect, as well as toward the coastline there off Highway 101. And then take a look here. A winter storm warning will be in effect through tonight, 10 p.m. And we're looking at several things happening all at once. First, of course, the bomb cyclone. That's tapping into the atmospheric river. Then this one and this one, this low and that low, will start to switch places, and that's what's called a Fujiwara effect, where the two kind of do that dance around each other. Take a look at this. This low begins to move to the north, and then that low slides right underneath, and they kind of rotate around each other a couple cycles. Meanwhile, that low is going to tap into the next atmospheric river that starts making its way through with plumes of moisture and then move into Southern California. And there's actually another low pressure behind even those, which we'll start seeing into early next week. Now, as we take a look into Thursday afternoon, this is where we get a little bit of a break south of Yuba City into your Thursday afternoon, evening, and then finally early Friday morning, it really picks up again for that morning commute. And then we'll see some more on and off shower chances from Friday to Saturday, small break on Sunday. Rain totals could get as much as anywhere from 1 to 2 inches around Sacramento through Saturday, and then north of Sacramento, anywhere from 2 to almost 4 inches of rain for different spots here. Check out Santa Rosa, 5.2 inches with maybe 7.7 inches of rainfall for Ukiah. I'm talking massive flooded areas here. So, of course, anything that burned could create burn scars and maybe mudslides or debris flows. Now, snowfall totals, we could see anywhere from even 3 to almost 4 feet of snow near Donner. And then even the European model saying, hey, it's pretty close. Anywhere from 2 to maybe 3.5 feet may be expected through Saturday. So a lot more snow on the way. Some good news for a lot of the resorts and those heading up the mountain to ski. But we'll see in our 3-day forecast upper 50s, low 60s. And actually, we're going to continue to see similar temperatures rolling through next week. Thanksgiving there. We may even see some shower chances.
All right, Carly, thanks. And don't forget that you can stay up to date on weather conditions wherever you are with our free ABC 10 Plus app. There you can find live radar, the latest storm news, and hourly forecasts tailored for your specific location. Still head on to the point. What's next for the report investigating Matt Gaetz' alleged sexual misconduct, which remains under wraps? Plus, you'll hear from political strategists about how proposed changes under a second Trump term could impact California. Tonight, a potential turning point in the controversy surrounding former Representative Matt Gaetz, who Trump nominated to be the next Attorney General. The House Ethics Committee was unable to reach an agreement on whether to release its report into allegations of Gaetz' sexual misconduct and illicit drug use. Before the meeting, Vice President-elect J.D. Vance and Gaetz lobbied several Republicans on the Senate Judiciary Committee, which will eventually vote on Gaetz' nomination. Democrats on that panel requested the FBI director to release all information on a separate investigation into Gaetz that is now closed. That DOJ investigation ended with no criminal charges. Tonight, Gaetz' approval in the Senate remains uncertain.
I'm not going to legitimize the process to destroy the man because people don't like his politics. He will be held to account in the confirmation process.
Now, it's unclear if the FBI will release its complete file. The request from Democratic senators is not an enforceable subpoena, and the House Ethics Committee will meet again on December 5th to reconsider releasing its findings. And I want to go ahead and bring in our political guests now. We have Democratic strategist Roger Salazar, president of Alza Strategies, former deputy press secretary to former Governor Gray Davis, and worked for Vice President Al Gore and former President Bill Clinton. And then Craig DeLuce, our Republican strategist, joining us tonight, founder of the Uncommon Sense Media Group, served on the legislative staff of California Assemblymen Kevin Jeffries and Tim Leslie. Thank you both for being here so much. We really appreciate it.
Pleasure to be here.
I do want to start off with Matt Gaetz. As we just said, the committee will complete its report in December. Craig, I want to start with you first, because when we were speaking earlier, you said that you would like to see somebody in this position with a little bit more law enforcement experience. So if Gaetz is confirmed, how do you see him taking on issues such as government accountability and key concerns like gun control and environmental justice?
Well, I think the first thing is, when it comes to accountability, what he's going to be doing is exactly why Trump selected him. And that is to go after what I call the alphabet letter agencies within the Department of Justice, who have allowed their department to be used for political retribution. They've been weaponized. And I think that the reason Donald Trump selected Representative Gaetz was because in Congress, he was one of the most dogged members when it came to going after the DOJ and the FBI.
Very vocal.
Regarding going after political opponents of the administration.
Yeah, I remember you saying he was very, very vocal about that. Roger, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, look, to me, it's very interesting. Again, as Craig said, he was very dogged, but it seems to me that the requirement for Attorney General or any cabinet position for the president-elect has nothing to do with their qualifications, other than apparently being accused of sexual misconduct of some sort or another. But more, are you loyal to him? Loyalty is the number one key for him. But it just astonishes me that, again, with all the people you could pick out there, of all the Republicans that are out there who have law enforcement backgrounds, who are aggressive and strong, they couldn't pick one that that has the moral wherewithal to actually hold an office like Attorney General. It's just mind-boggling to me, and it's not just me saying it. The Republican senators are saying this guy has no shot. His own colleagues can't stand him. So it's just puzzling to me that Trump would go after and select somebody like him.
And we've been talking about this report. Roger, we spoke earlier. You said, look, this report's going to come out one way or the other.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And you're already seeing it. There have been leaks today, that came out, with, some of the checks and copies of the checks and the Venmo accounts and all sorts of stuff. I mean, it's going to get uglier before it gets better. So I just don't see, that this is a hill that Trump wants to die on. But maybe it's a distraction for all the other nominees that he wants to put in there.
Well, and that was a point that I think I made in our conversation, was it may very well be that this is the sacrificial lamb. This is someone who he's got other picks that people have questions about, and they realize they can't say no to all of his picks. So quite likely that, if they say no to this one, then others will wind up having an easier path to
that makes more sense to me than anything else.
And I do want to ask you both if the House Ethics Committee releases its report, how might this impact his potential confirmation, and what could be the broader consequences for the effectiveness and also the public perception of this department? What are your thoughts?
Well, I think that overall, he has his detractors in both the Republican and the Democratic Party, in both the House and the Senate. He's made a lot of enemies. He's got a lot of folks who are concerned. Quite frankly, it's the Trump supporters who are the real advocates for him. And the question is going to be, for I think many of the Republicans, are they going to go with what they feel is the right thing, or are they going to do what they believe is in the best interest of, or supporting Donald Trump's nominee.
And Roger, I have about 20 seconds. What are your
and
thoughts?
I think, again, it reminds me of the old, the movie poster for the movie True Grit. Retribution comes one way or another, and I think that's what Trump is all about in this case. And if somebody like Gaetz manages to get through as Attorney General, that's what's going to be. It's going to be a revenge tour for him.
All right, thank you both. And I just want to say our conversation is not ending here. I'm going to be sitting down with these two gentlemen, speaking a lot more about things that we know you really care about. We're going to be talking about education, immigration, and also Trump's relationship with the media. So that will be on our streaming platform, and we'll continue to update you on air and online. But stick with us after this break. We have some updates on the mayoral race. All right, before we go here, we're answering two questions we heard from you after reporting the close updated results of the Sacramento mayoral race yesterday. One, could one of the candidates request a recount? And two, why is it taking so long to know who won? ABC 10's Becca Habegger brings us the answers.
Here we are 2 weeks after Election Day, and we still don't know who will be Sacramento's next mayor. We asked the county why it's taking so long.
We received over 650,000 ballots. Every ballot has a human touching it. Every ballot is printed on paper, so the vast majority of those we have to verify signatures on because they were either mailed or dropped off in a ballot drop box, so we have to make sure that the signature on it matches the voter's file, but we are moving just as quickly as we have in past elections.
In the race for Sacramento mayor, Kevin McCarty is leading Dr. Flo Kofer by some 3,100 votes, a margin that has narrowed with every update. So could we see a recount, and what would that take?
Either candidate or really any registered voter in California can request a recount.
They must do so in writing within 5 days of the county certifying the election results.
And then they would bear the cost of the recount as well.
It would be expensive, but state law says if the recount does change the result, the requester's money will be refunded to them. In Sacramento, Becca Habiger, ABC 10.
Now, you already know we are always looking to answer your questions, so if you have something that you want the answer to, make sure to reach out to me and my team, and we'll do our best to try to answer your questions. As always, thank you so much for tuning in, for watching. To the Point does not end here. You can always stream us for free on our ABC 10 Plus app. Have a great night, and I'll see you later. Hey, it's Alex. I just wanted to say thank you so much for watching. The To The Point team and I love hearing from you, and I hope that you'll stay in touch. And don't forget, you can always email me and the team at tothepoint@abc10.com, or you can even send us a text message at 916-321-3310.
Thanks for watching ABC 10 Plus. And now that you're here, why don't we take a look around and see what else is here? The very first tile on your left is always going to be streaming 24/7. You can find us adjacent to that, breaking news if it's there. And then right next to that, a replay of the most recent newscast. Whether it's ABC 10 Morning News at 5, 6, or beyond, it's going to be there. The forecast beyond that, and then right beyond that, the news that matters the most. Now that you know the basic tiles, let's go up to the top and take a deeper dive into news. We have every single newscast that you would need, including To The Point with Alex Bell, taking a deeper dive into the issues. Beyond that, ABC 10 Morning News at 5 and 6 and 11, the evening shows as well. Below that, you can watch the top stories from To The Point. Under that, Dollars and Cents, where you can learn how to navigate this challenging economy. And below that, you can watch our award-winning ABC 10 Special Investigations, where we hold the powerful accountable. Going into weather, look, it's the 10-day forecast, getting you ready for the weekend and beyond. Beyond that, sports. I know you care about the Sacramento Kings. We have the most comprehensive guide to anything, everything Kings in the locker room and on the court. We have it. Below that, I know you care about the San Francisco 49ers. We can't mention Bay Sports without talking about the Oakland A's. We have that too. What's super exciting, I know you care about high school sports. You'll never find a more comprehensive guide and team dedicated to high school sports. Backing out again, come up to the top and join me on Verify. I'm super excited about this. Our experts are checking the facts, verifying the truth for you. Jump up now to shows. Very excited about this. Oh, look. It's Take a Look. This is my show. I love movies, and if you love movies or streaming shows, whether it's on screens this big, or this big, it's Take a Look. Recently went behind the scenes, sat down with Lady Gaga and Joaquin Phoenix to talk about Joker 2. I love the movie, and oh, I just heard you shout you hate the movie. Jump in, we talk about it on this show. Other shows, Bartell's Backroads, go up and down the state of California, tank of gas getaways, one fuel cell getaway, like places like the Toy Museum. This is what kids did before they had screens. Over here, the Moaning Caverns of Calaveras County, one of the most coveted caves in all of California. You know, watching this show, I discovered there's a cave that could fit the entire Statue of Liberty in your own backyard. You'll find about that and more with Bartell's Backroads. Down below that, To The Point. It is one of my favorite newscasts because they talk about news with Alex Bell the way you talk about news. It's conversational, but in-depth at the same time. Below that, Your California Life. Love this show. Whether it's entertainment, food, beverage, lifestyle, it's there. Desiree Shepherd hosts and does an amazing job. So there you have it. It's ABC 10 Plus, the app. What do you need? We heard you and we got it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for streaming.